Close of play of the second day of the first test between England and New Zealand at Lords sees New Zealand very well placed indeed. 236 for 4. They've worked really hard today. They lead by 227. Thanks almost entirely to a stand that's still going on with 180 in 56 overs between Daryl Mitchell, who's 97 not out, and Tom Blundell, the wicketkeeper, who's 90 not out. And they saved New Zealand from, again, a potential embarrassment when they were 56 for 4. That was the last wicket to fall when Devon Conway gloved broad down the leg side to be caught by Folkes for 13. And they lost 3 early wickets as well. Will Young for naught, Futz 5 for 1. Williamson for the second time to Potts, this time in Potts' second over, out for 15. That was 30 for 2, 35 for 3 when Tom Latham was caught by Folkes off Potts for 14. Earlier, of course, England resumed. They had 3 wickets left. Well, they didn't last that long. Broad had a bit of a swipe and was bowled by Southey for 9. Folkes edged Southey to Mitchell at slip for 7. And Parkinson was caught in the same place off Trent Boult for 8. So England actually added 25 runs those last 3 wickets. They were bowled out for 141, having been 59 for no wicket. It was a slender lead of 9. And New Zealand, say, in that very strong position now, leading by 227, still with some stroke players, hard-hitting all-rounders to come. And they will have the use of the third day pitch. And I think a reasonable forecast after possibly some overnight rain in which to build on that. Michael Vaughan's alongside me. Fascinating day. I mean, you have all that rush of wickets yesterday. And in a way, things kind of slowed down and went back to normal. In a way.
Yeah, and that's down to New Zealand. They're a good team. You go back to last night. That last session was such an important session in the context of the game, because New Zealand they gathered a bit of that mentality, that toughness that they have, and they won the session. They came out this morning, dislodged the 3 wickets, got the bat in hand, with only trailing by 9 runs, which yesterday afternoon at 59 for 0, they'd have been thinking, well, we're going to probably looking at least 100 that we have to look at before we kind of get any runs in the second innings. They lose a few early wickets when the ball was nibbling around, then all of a sudden the ball stops swinging, seaming, and I reckon in 2 days, Brendan McCullum, if he's honest, he'd have just known that this England Test match side, the batting is a real problem. It's very fragile, and we saw that yesterday. It's been the case for quite a long period of time. And this England side, when it swings and seams, are a massive threat. They're going to bowl teams out, but when it stops swinging and it stops seaming, all these pace bowlers are injured. It was crying out this afternoon.
I think I missed those today.
Yeah, Jofra, Mark Wood, and Ollie Stone, Saki Mahmood. Just someone that can just offer something different. The skipper himself had to try a few bouncers. Ben Stokes can try all sorts, and generally it works. But the spin option, Matt Parkinson comes in today hard. He was having a barbecue yesterday. He's now bowling for England at Lords on what is quite a hard wicket to bowl on as a spinner. There's nothing there for the leg spinner. So everything that we knew about this Test team inside 2 days, it's just highlighted. We know the problems. The batting's fragile. When it's swinging, they're fine. When it doesn't, this attack's going to struggle to get 20 wickets.
It's funny, isn't it? We talk about confidence all the time of the players. And I find myself today, like with Jeremy just now, saying, "Yeah, but we know that England are in trouble here because we've seen it so much." And if you feel that as someone who's been watching them a lot recently, then that's the job that McCullum faces, to get that out of their heads who are actually playing in it, because you can't help but feel, but we've been watching this team for 18 months. The batting crumbles under any sort of pressure. If we're feeling that, sitting here and viewing it, what sort of job has he got to try and convince his batsmen that they shouldn't feel like that?
Well, that's reality. And reality sometimes is exactly what the team need. And I hope Brendan is going to be real with them, that they know that as a batting unit, yesterday was pathetic. Just look at the dismissals. They're just not good enough at this level.
They play plenty of cricket as well.
Absolutely.
They can't use that as an excuse.
And we are the first to give them excuses in the Ashes. The preparation wasn't right. They arrive in Brisbane, get blown away, not had the preparation, and they'll use that as an excuse. I'm sorry, they've had probably as good a preparation leading into a Test match that the England Test match team has had for many, many years.
Agreed.
So there are no excuses. They just play poorly. And that is the standard at the minute of the batting lineup. And today with the ball, this bowling attack, they're going to give everything. And they're going to be there or thereabouts. And when there's movement, big threats, because you've got the skill levels of Broad and Anderson, bit of nibble, bit of seam, bringing the batters forward, fantastic. But when that stops, And when the opposing side goes, you know what, we've just got to survive 30, particularly in the second innings. In the first innings, they'll carry on and they'll just carry on with that extra bit of zip. But when you're asking the bowling attack to be out there again so soon without the rest, they need a day or so of rest. Rest up, and then you come again in the second innings, you can give it that little bit extra. To be back out there bowling again so soon, it's just been the story of the last couple of years of Test match cricket. How Brendan puts that right, I don't know. I don't know how he does that. I mean, it's down to the batting. The batting is the real problem, because that was a good pitch today, and you would expect a batting unit, a couple of players, to get in on that kind of surface, and that's what happened in the afternoon.
And they have, I mean, they've been given plenty of examples of how to do it over the last 18 months, but they've had another one today with those two. And the third innings of a Test is often so pressurised and so difficult, and we've seen so many times teams, for no apparent reason other than just timidity and being worried about the position they find themselves. Oh no, it's even Stevens. If we get bowled out cheaply in this third Test, we'll lose. And they often get bowled out cheaply because they're thinking like that. But actually, although they lost 3 quick wickets and then a fourth at 56 for 4, these two, there was no sign of that timidity at all. They just played really patiently, very disciplined, didn't really take many chances. They tried to get after Parkinson when he first came on, as you'd expect, but otherwise they just batted.
Well, it's tempo, isn't it? We're seeing too often the opposing team bat with a tempo that you sit here as a commentator, as a pundit, and you go, they just look in control because they're playing within their game plan. They know specific areas that are there for them. Low risk, high reward. The drive under the nose was a ball that early for 30 overs was quite a difficult shot to play, and then the ball stops doing as much, and that becomes an option, so they take it on. Rotating the strike, just the basics of the game. Strong defence, leaving well. Everything that the England team will be talking about, and they will be talking the right game, and they will be saying the right things. At the minute, they're just not delivering it out in the middle. It's a pressure, it's an anxiety that comes inside yourself when you're out there, and you just know that you've made mistakes before, and you're out there and you probably say, don't make the mistake, Jack Crawley, don't drive all the time. And he does drive. The old psychology.
That's his most productive shot.
Exactly. Yeah. So Brendan will know, over the week it's been very positive. Yesterday's start, very positive. 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, brilliant start for Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum. The positives all worked. Well, inside 24 hours, I think reality has hit home to Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum that this Test match team are down the bottom of the list in terms of the rankings for a reason. You don't suddenly start playing incredible cricket when you're 8th. And you're 8th for a reason, and New Zealand are near the top because they've played good, strong Test match cricket for quite a few years, and that's how they've got out of this situation that they were in yesterday. And
to answer both our questions, I suppose what does change it is winning a game like this. If they're set 280 to win, it's not going to be easy. But if they win it, then suddenly you're on a bit of a roll, then, aren't you? You start to feel so much better about everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to take that, or at least get very, very close. Because I think this New Zealand side over the course of the next 2 weeks will get better. They're rusted. They've not played any cricket, and they can win here on the back of not playing any cricket, going to Nottingham and then on to Headingley. They are a very, very good team because they don't rely on 1 or 2 individuals. They're a team. You're never quite sure which member of the side, like that partnership this afternoon, fantastic. We're expecting Kane Williamson, Conway. They didn't deliver. So they've got 2 that kind of stepped up to the plate. That's what happened yesterday afternoon with the ball in hand. Jameson, he started it, and all of a sudden Southey got into the game, Bolt gets into the game. They're a very, very good cricket team, New Zealand, because they've got great mentality, no egos. They play the game in a sensible way.
They enjoy it too, actually.
They absolutely enjoy the game, but they play Test cricket in a sensible way, and it serves you well. If you can play sensible, disciplined cricket for long periods in Test match cricket, there's a chance that you might win a game or 2.
Well, let's hear from the England camp, shall we? The England assistant coach, Paul Collingwood, has been speaking to Alison Mitchell.
Well, Paul, a testing day for England in the field. How have you assessed it?
Yeah, it has been a testing afternoon. The rhythm of the game has completely changed. I think all the excitement of yesterday and then this morning, people were expecting that the day was going to continue with that and that theme, but I think it's shown once you got the heavy roller on and the ball got soft that you can make runs on there, and Blundell and Mitchell put on a fantastic partnership there. But I think from a coach's point of view, all you can ask for from your players is keep the intensity in the field. Every opportunity they had to hit the stumps, they hit the stumps. Try to create chances and really tried everything out there. We tried different lines with the seamers, bowling straight, hanging it a bit, obviously some short pitch bowling, just trying to create a chance out there, and it unfortunately never came, but the boys stuck at it really well.
Matt Parkinson had to make a bit of a dash to join the squad. How did you feel he went?
Yeah, look, an incredible story really. Obviously sitting in his back garden yesterday afternoon, gets a phone call and he's got to come down and make his debut at Lord's. So it's, I'm delighted for him that he's got an opportunity. I'm sure he would like to have got the ball with a bit more assistance on the pitch, but he's stuck at it really well today.
Does the partnership that we've seen from New Zealand put into sharper focus again England's failings with the bat once more to lose all 10 wickets for 82 runs as he did?
Well, I think the wicket was doing a lot more yesterday. There was a lot of seam movement, there was swing as well, and as I said, once the balls got soft today, we didn't have that sharpness and movement that it was yesterday. So I think that's good signs for us in the second innings. The pitch seems to be getting better. We've got a new ball in the morning which we can hopefully make inroads. We've got some exceptional new ball bowlers in the dressing rooms there that can do some special stuff. So hopefully take a couple of early wickets tomorrow and it'll be game on.
What's going to be needed by the batters? Because of course everyone knew not to expect results instantly with the McCullum-Stokes new leadership, but there is an element of disappointment in the batting in that first inning. So what do they need to do differently?
Yeah, look, there was some good bowling as well. You've got to hold your hands up and say there was some good bowling there. But McCullum's a very relaxed and positive figure in the dressing room. He doesn't want to look too far back, and this is his first Test match involved with us, and he's certainly wanting the batters there to go out and soak up pressure at times, but also looking to put the bowlers under pressure, and I think that you've got to get that balance right when you're out in the middle and adjust to the conditions.
And how about the way Matt Potts has adjusted to conditions out there? You're a Durham man yourself, and how well has he gone? Yeah,
I'm delighted for him. Look, he's a great talent. He's had a very good start. I mean, he's got 6 wickets so far in this Test match, and he looks as though he's a bowler that never gives up. He really does run in hard, and he's got good skills. So delighted for him so far, and hopefully he can get a couple more tomorrow.
So the plan for the next day, or however long this match goes on for, and what is Brendan's demeanour up there? As you said, we know him to be a very positive person.
Well, he's very positive. He's a glass half full kind of man, and he's very calm as well. And I think the plan is simply to take wickets with that new ball tomorrow. I think it's proven so far when you got movement. It's a new ball wicket. You can create chances, and credit to them this afternoon. They've played really well. They haven't given us any chances, but hopefully we can get some tomorrow morning.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Cheers.
That's Paul Collingwood talking to Alison Mitchell. Just looking at the bowling attack, I mean, we know about Anderson and Broad. Could it be a long summer this? Because all the quick bowlers injured.
Absolutely, it's going to be a long. I can guarantee they're going to have to get used to fielding.
Yeah,
and it might be in the first innings where there's a bit of juice and they get the movement and the seam and the swing, but it's about getting 20 wickets.
But they're not going to be able to play every game, are they?
No, they're going to have to find. Overton's going to play. They may have to find 1 or 2 others because the cartel of quick bowlers are just not going to be there. So I feel for them and I feel for Ben Stokes because the captain's only as good as the attack.
Yes.
The attack of getting 20 wickets, and if you're looking around and you can't find that extra dimension to your attack, it's particularly in an afternoon like today where you're crying out for a Jofra or a Mark Wood just to offer something different. We know England don't have a world-class spinner, so you don't have that world-class spinner that you can throw the ball to at the minute. So I do think this summer's going to be a summer where they might have to get used to fielding quite a little bit.
Yeah, and someone like Parkinson, 14 overs for 43 today, but he is not going to be the sort of bowler who could just toss to and say, right, you keep that end going for the session. We'll rotate our quick bowlers around at this other end. Not many wrist spinners are like that.
No.
I mean Shane Warne obviously was like that. Not many others, and so these seam bowlers are going to have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they are. I thought Parkinson from the pavilion end looked too slow. I thought he looked better from the nursery, and with the slope, helpful that the slope's in his favour. And I thought he got them down there around 50 miles an hour, which looked a little bit more threatening than the 45 miles an hour that we saw from the pavilion end. He's work in progress. He's obviously got a good first-class record. He's got plenty of first-class wickets. But my first observation is I think he's going to have to bowl around 50 miles an hour on a more regular basis rather than the 45 miles an hour that we saw from the pavilion end.
Right, Michael, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts, and we'll catch you tomorrow. We'll see, you can hear Michael and see Michael, of course, on the highlights on BBC Two, which are coming up shortly, actually, at 7 o'clock at the top of the hour. So let's get our New Zealand perspective then. It's a reminder of the situation. They lead by 227. They've got 6 wickets left. This excellent partnership with 180 between Mitchell and Blundell. They're both almost there, almost within inches of getting their names on the honours board here at Lord's, which is obviously a great thrill to score centuries here. Jeremy Coney is here looking thoughtful. You do like to kind of not exceed, not build up expectations and hopes too much. But this is a tremendous performance, isn't it?
Oh, it's a good fight back.
Yeah.
I mean, from 49 for 7 or whatever New Zealand were, to be in this situation a day later means there's been quite a lot of movement in the game. So the bowlers have got, first of all, they've got the team back into the game, and now the batsmen, after losing top order wickets again, have found a couple of players, and it's nice that I think that it's 4 and 5 or 5 and 6, because that's where Taylor and Watling and those other players that we've relied on in the past have gone now, and so they're being replaced, and that's always a nice feeling. That, I mean, we're lucky in New Zealand that we don't get lost the wood for the trees when we do succession planning. We don't have to give money out to 1,000, we can give it out to 5, and so we can then focus on those people and work with them. There was Cam Fletcher down there today, who's the next Blundell for New Zealand, and so they've already selected that. So it makes it a little bit easier from that point of view.
Let's hear from Tom Blundell, and he's been speaking with Alison Mitchell.
Tom, well battered. You put New Zealand in the ascendancy. How did you have to pace your innings today?
Yeah, no, it was tough at times. There was periods where it was tough, and I think to build that partnership with Daryl was pretty pleasing, and hopefully tomorrow we can do the same.
What made it tough at the beginning?
I think they bowled really well. They bowled nice and tight. There was a little bit in it with off the seam, but we got through that really well, and hopefully we can build on that.
The lead was only 47 when you came together. What was the messaging between the two of you at the start?
I think it was still to be positive. Try to be as positive as possible. And it seemed to work really well. Daryl's who's a positive player. But it was just to build a partnership. And the longer we bat out there, bring the bowlers back, and I thought we did that really well.
And you barely offered a chance. I think when Parkinson came on, was there a concerted effort to try and attack him, certainly perhaps from Daryl Mitchell's side?
Oh, I think so. You want to put a debutant under pressure. Both me and Daryl against spin are quite positive, and it was good fun to try be positive. But it was good.
What do you believe you can push on to? What sort of total do you believe you want to get?
I'm not sure. I think me and Daryl got a job to do tomorrow morning. The new ball's around the corner, and that's going to be the next challenge. So if we get through that, who knows.
Was there much conversation between the two of you, or thought in your own mind about reaching 3 figures before the close tonight?
Not really. Not in my mind. I think the milestone will come, hopefully. But it was just doing the job of the team, and again tomorrow we can build that partnership.
How much notice did Daryl get that he was playing? Because Henry Nicholls, he's injured obviously, and Daryl has come in for him.
Daryl's a good fit. He's batted at 5. Obviously Toey's a great player, but he's done a fantastic job, Daryl, and hopefully he can get that milestone tomorrow.
Well battered today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Yeah, he'll sleep well tonight, that's for sure. Tom Blundell, 90 not out. Daryl Mitchell, 97 not out. And what they've done, Jeremy, they've created a platform now for the two hard-hitting all-rounders to come in, and Southey too, by the way. Of course, as we know, can create a bit of mayhem too with the bat. I mean, they really could be dangerous if they get through this new ball tomorrow.
That's the key, isn't it? Yeah. Tomorrow, if New Zealand can just somehow be able to. And I noticed that Paul Collingwood made the point this might be a new ball pitch. Well, okay. I mean, it'll certainly do more than it did towards the end of the second day. If England are able to pick up a few wickets there, perhaps the game is still going to change.
Yeah. What did you think of England's attack? I mean, Michael Vaughan and I were chatting away about it. It just seemed to run out of steam a bit, and it's desperately lacking a cutting edge, some pace.
Yeah, well, New Zealand have similar kind of difficulties, really. I've thought that when they get on pitches like this, that their threat is narrowed quite dramatically, and so it's quite narrow, the sort of pitches that you need to have for this sort of attack to thrive. Everybody's right arm. Everybody's about the same pace.
Yes.
Certainly there's swing and there's a wee bit of seam there if the conditions suit it, and then they become lively. But after that, where do you go?
Exactly.
That's where you need...
Could Stokes have gone anywhere else today? I'm not sure that there was anywhere else for him to go, really, was there?
No, he moved them around. He tried different ends. He gave them different lengths of spell. And he left himself behind a little bit, actually, and looked to swing the ball, I thought, more than the others.
Yeah.
And then he tried the short pitch deliveries.
Yeah.
So, I think everything was sort of tried, and he left them with, if they got it right, he left them with a cordon for most of the day. I didn't think there was any real problems there. I think Parkinson at the moment is too slow for international cricket, but he'll learn from that. And he bowled most of his spell, Jonathan, bowling against the slope.
Yeah.